The new executive series would not be possible without the tremendous support of our sponsors. Thank you to all of our sponsors who have continuously supported the LVEDC mission during this time. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Lehigh Valley Health Network. Our premier sponsor, Capital Blue Cross. Gold sponsor, Fitzpatrick Lenson Buba. Our event sponsors, Boyle Construction, Clunk & Milan Advertising, and Olympus Corporation of the Americas. Thank you to our interview sponsor, Victaulic, our production sponsor, Countess Communications, and our hosts throughout the Lehigh Valley. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. We hope you enjoy the new executive series.
On behalf of Capital Blue Cross, I would like to welcome you to the LVEDC Executive Interview Series. As a proud member of the Lehigh Valley business community, Capital Blue Cross recognizes the importance of economic development and the critical role that business leaders play in the growth and development of our region. That's why we decided to sponsor this important series, so you can hear the visions and plans that keep our valley on the cutting edge directly from these key leaders. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hello, I'm Don Cunningham, President and CEO of the Lehigh Valley Economic Development Corporation, and welcome to our second series of meeting the new executives in the Lehigh Valley. Today with us is Julien Sauvagnargues from Olympus Corporation. Julien, thank you so much for being here with us. Julian has been with Olympus since 2012, but in 2020 became the president of Olympus of the Americas. Julian, you took over in the midst of a very difficult time. You came in as president of Olympus during the pandemic. And how has the adjustment been to the new position?
Well, it has been quite tough, to be honest, right? The first couple of months is like drinking out of fire hose, as we say, because everything was new, right? It's a big company, Olympus Corporation of the Americas. We have 5,500 people, you know. Some are in the Lehigh Valley, but we also have a lot of other employees in different sites in South and North America. So I'm lucky and to have a very, very good team around me who helped me a lot to take over this new position. And the first thing we had to do is really to deal with the pandemic situation, right? So.
Right. And we're so grateful in the Lehigh Valley that Olympus chose to move Olympus of Americas here with their American headquarters in 2006 here in the Lehigh Valley. It is one of our most internationally known and recognized brands. It's headquartered here. And today, Olympus looks a lot different than it did back in 2006 when it initially came here. I think most folks probably don't realize the transition that's taken place in the products that are being developed. Yeah. Can you talk about that a little?
Definitely. I mean, what people probably don't know very well is that now Olympus is a medtech company. So 85 to 90% of our sales are with medical products. Endoscopes, right? Gastro endoscopes, or therapeutic products that we deliver to hospital, healthcare system, surgeons, doctors. So Olympus is known for the consumer imaging business, right, which is a part of my background actually. But we sold this business actually in January this year, 2021. And the rest of our business now is the scientific solution business, which is the 10% remaining apart from the medical.
So there's a good chance anybody that's going for an endoscopy or any kind of scoping that the Olympus technology, the camera technology, the imaging technology is in that medical device.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly if you need to do a colonoscopy, it's like 70 to 80% that an Olympus product will be used during this colonoscopy.
And it's extraordinary the life-saving that has taken place with these type of procedures, of being able to enter the body and detect problems before they become a problem to the person.
Absolutely, particularly in colorectal cancer. This is a disease which is seeable when we look into it, and which is treatable as well. So, screening is key. If you screen soon enough, it's actually not a big issue. So that's what we can do now with these technologies. That's what we do at Olympus. We see and treat, right? We have devices to do both, and definitely it's a big change for the life of the patients and also for the doctors.
So in the structure of Olympus, Olympus of the Americas is part of Olympus, the global corporation. In fact, your predecessor Nacho Abia, has been promoted now to being the Chief Operating Officer of Olympus International. So what is the focus of Olympus of the Americas versus the parent company in Japan?
Yeah, so the mission of Olympus of the Americas, we have several missions actually. One is to sell Olympus products in the territory. So when we say Americas is North and South America. So that's one of the missions, and these products can be made everywhere. Another mission we have is actually to manufacture products. So we do have factories here in the US, in Canada, that produces these devices that we sell here, but also that we can sell elsewhere in Europe, in Japan, in Asia, in Africa, everywhere in the world. And we also have a mission to develop research and develop this new innovation for the future. So the Americas is a very big region for Olympus, is more or less 1/3 of the sales, but it's also a very big region because we are developing very fast here. Just to give you an example, we have big divisions in medical. We have the therapeutic division and we have the endoscopy division. The therapeutic division, we've made the decision a couple of years ago to actually locate it in the US for the globe. So, it means that we are closer to the biggest market. We can do merger and acquisition faster being here. So again, the Americas is very important for Olympus globally.
So here in the Lehigh Valley, where the headquarters is, you have about 1,000 employees. I believe you have the headquarters and then also a distribution facility out in Breiningsville.
Yes.
What is the focus? What are the type of jobs and activities that take place at the headquarters?
Okay, so at the headquarters, we have a lot of corporate functions, HR, finance, IT, and a lot of marketing activities as well, right? So the marketing people for the different divisions can be located here in the Lehigh Valley, and a lot of the senior leaders are also here.
Right. So you weren't around at the time of the transition off of Long Island in 2006, right? You came in 2012.
I came in 2012,
But
yes.
that was a very exciting move for the people of the Lehigh Valley, because here we are today in downtown Allentown at the PPL Center and the Dime Restaurant at the Renaissance Hotel. Up the street is PPL Corporation, and Air Products has groups down here. But Olympus coming in was the next largest national headquarters that came to the Lehigh Valley. I assume by now, 15 years later, the adjustment has fully been made and folks are comfortable being here in the region?
Yeah, I believe so. Again, I was not in Long Island, and I came directly here in the Lehigh Valley. I think that most of our employees are very attached now to the valley, to the quality of living we have here, right? Most of them live nearby the office. We don't have a lot of people commuting a long distance, either from New Jersey or even Philadelphia. It happens, but the most of our employees live here.
One of the issues we work on quite a bit at Lehigh Valley Economic Development Corporation is workforce, talent supply, alignment of education to skills, and we've worked quite a bit with the folks in HR and other areas at Olympus on this issue, which is employment has been a challenge, I think, for all companies here, for companies we're working with on recruitment. How are you finding the process of attracting talent, finding talent here at the headquarters in the Lehigh Valley?
Well, I mean, let's be very honest here. Finding talents is a challenge. It has always been. It's possible, we do it. It can take time. But what we can see, nevertheless, is that it's not more difficult here in the Lehigh Valley that it is, for example, in the region of Boston, where we do have also a big facility. or even more difficult in California, where we do have another facility. So what do we do to do that, right? I mean, definitely we need to have a good networking here. We need to have the good headhunters, be close to the education centers, right? And be very clear on what Olympus can offer to the future talent who want to join us.
Because it really is a national, if not an international challenge, right? The alignment of skills to jobs that the economy are creating and the issue of finding the best talent.
Well, I guess that business has become a war for talent, right? I mean, we know that the companies who gotta get the best talents are the company who will succeed in the future.
And it would seem Olympus has an advantage, and obviously being an international company, you yourself, a native of France, Nacho Bio before you was from Spain, that you're casting a very wide international, diverse net for employees and for leadership.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, you know, if you would have told me, oh, you're gonna go and live in the Lehigh Valley, I would never have believed you, right? So I mean, to be honest, when I was working with Olympus in France, I didn't know anything about the Lehigh Valley, and then I decided to come here, and I discovered the Lehigh Valley. And I liked it very much. So it's my home now. This is where my kids are growing up. You know, they spent most of their life here. They are 14 and 11. So we came 9 years ago. I let you do the math.
So they were little when they came.
They were little when they came here. And I think that, you know, it may be a good advertisement for the Lehigh Valley, you know, to have somebody coming from abroad and saying, oh, well, you should check this place because it's nice.
Well, and that's why we're also thrilled that you've come on to the Lehigh Valley Economic Development Corporation board, because you have a perspective that is so much broader and so much deeper than our leadership that have just been here in the United States. One of the things that has been emerging in the Lehigh Valley, with Olympus at the forefront along with B. Braun and OraSure, is a nice life sciences sector that has emerging. We have about 180 different companies in the life sciences now, about 7,000 or 8,000 total employees, and it's something that we've been working hard at trying to grow and develop. What are your thoughts about that sector, the future of that sector in the United States, particularly post-COVID?
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, the thought is that the life sciences, and if I look a little bit more on what I really know, the medtech, right? Yeah, we believe it's going to grow, right? And that's true for the Americas, that's true worldwide, and this is one big reason why Olympus is focusing on this very activity. So there is definitely a growth potential here for companies in the life science sector, and if we look a little bit more at the Lehigh Valley, I think it's a very good location for us, right? First of all, the location itself is just great. Aside of this, we do have great partners in the education system, a lot of education, you know, opportunities there, and the healthcare system here is also top-notch, right? So all this makes the Lehigh Valley, I believe, a very, very good place to develop a life science business. And with what you've done, you know, in the past, developing this sector is giving us a very strong core, right, that we can use now to attract even more companies, I believe.
Right. And so you mentioned earlier that your research and development unit, is the research and development being based here as well?
No, the research and development we have is based either in Boston for the medical side, or in Quebec City in Canada for some of our scientific and industrial products.
What, looking ahead, looking out 3 years with your targets in Olympus of the Americas, is there a focus on new product development, refinement of existing products? Obviously, you want to sell more Olympus scopes and imaging equipment. But what do you see emerging over the next 2 to 3 years?
Okay, yeah. So, well, definitely innovation is key, right? I mean, the medtech sector is a technology industry, obviously, and you cannot grow, you cannot compete without innovation. So that's where actually we spend a big part of our budget. We invest a lot of money in innovation. When I look at Olympus Corporation of the Americas for the next 3 to 5 years, I see a company who is going to become more global, right? Olympus is becoming more global. I told you, part of the headquarters are right now in the US. This is going to continue to grow. I see a company which is going to be more open to external partnerships. We have done a significant amount of acquisitions in 2020 despite the COVID situation, and that's going to continue, I think, at a good pace. And the Americas is definitely a market where we want to continue to invest by developing these kind of partnerships. And I see Olympus in general, including the Americas, becoming a more and more patient-centric company, right? So we have to continue to use this innovation, to use this partnership, to really bring value to the patient, right? To bring a better life to the patient and to help our customer, our doctors, to do that.
Right. So no more cameras at all, right?
No more cameras. It breaks my heart, to be honest. I've been in this business.
Because you were in that unit at one time.
I was, but it's still a very strong legacy for Olympus, because what we do is always linked to optics and electronics, and this business actually has brought a lot to Olympus in the past, and it's still remaining important to us. I mean, it's close to my heart for sure.
Right. Well, yeah, absolutely. And I think, it will always be this known brand because of that history and that legacy.
Exactly.
And, what you're saying about looking at the forecasting of growth, we're seeing right now, in general in the life sciences, med tech, that after the events of 2020 and the pandemic, we're seeing more focus on medicine supply chains, maybe shortening, coming more domestically to the United States, because I think a reverberation went through everybody about how long it takes to get certain products.
Well, what is your business continuity plan, right?
Yeah.
You need to deliver your customer. They count on you because they have patients in the operating room waiting for your product. So right. you need to be able to be reliable, right? And sometimes being reliable in the supply chain is to have local facilities, right? Yeah.
Now, one of the things that obviously we haven't been able to do for the last 14, 15 months as an economic development business community in the Lehigh Valley is mix and mingle and meet folks. I would have to imagine that one of the challenges for you coming into this position is a lot of Zoom meetings, a lot of outside of the office, and that's really why we've been doing this interview series, so folks can get to know the new corporate leaders and business leaders in the Lehigh Valley. And towards that end, how have you been able to cope as a leader, being kind of sequestered at the time when you're being asked to take on a large part of the world's business?
A lot to say about that. I mean, first of all, before I speak about myself, a few words about the Olympus employees and the way this company in general has reacted to this new environment, this crisis, right? Yeah. Very, very fast, we were able to pivot into a remote type of working, right? We had the technology to do so. It has been extremely quick, and I've been absolutely blown away by the resilience and creativity of the Olympus employees. We actually did a very, very good year in 2020, thanks to tremendous efforts from everybody. We speak always about the people who are at the office who used to be at the office and now working from home. But we also have, as I told you, manufacturing sites, repair sites, and these people kept going. They were essential business, right, people. Yeah. They kept going, and they still go to their working place every day to deliver, the right products to our doctors. So again, a lot of efforts, a lot of commitment, a lot of engagement toward our customers and this company. Well, for me, taking over a new position like that in these circumstances, it has been kind of crazy. What I miss the most, I believe, is the contact with the customers. It's pretty difficult to do it. You cannot go and visit a doctor in a hospital anymore. You cannot go in a trade show because there is no in-person trade shows. It's going to come back, but that's what I miss the most.
So I want to shift it a little bit. So we've been talking a lot about Olympus, the future of Olympus, but you're a very unique leader, being of European descent and being here in the United States and being able to see us through a different eye. We look forward to hearing a lot of your observations and perspectives. But what would you say is, as somebody who's been here now for 8 years, the significant difference maybe between European business environment and American business environment?
Well, let me give you maybe an example. And maybe it's not about the environment, but it's also about the mindset or the culture, right? So I'm European, I work in the US for a Japanese company. And if you look at the way the Japanese are working and the way the Americans are working, it's pretty much the opposite. So, for example, in Japan, you're going to have to analyze before doing anything. And you're going to take a lot of time to analyze before doing whatever decision. In the US, it's the opposite. We want to decide quick, we fail quick, we rebound, and we try again. The Europeans are maybe a little bit in the middle, and that's maybe why I'm here today in this position. I can bridge maybe the two cultures. But apart from that, I definitely believe that in general, and I don't want to make any politics here, it's easier to do business in the US than it is in most of the European countries. It's more flexible, it's faster. I've been amazed by actually the quality of the talents we can find here in the Lehigh Valley and in other places where we have sites. But definitely here the work ethic is absolutely incredible, and that's something I really discovered when I came.
And that's great to hear. Yeah. Now, how about you personally, for the folks who haven't gotten a chance to meet you yet and share a conversation with you? What do you like to do when you're not running Olympus? Obviously you're father of some probably pretty active teenagers.
So I have 2 daughters. I have a wife, obviously, 2 cats. So I spend time with my family is really what I like to do. I like the outdoors a lot, right? I'm from the Alps. No, I don't run. I bike a little bit, mountain biking, and I like to play tennis as well. So, but even hiking, just discovering places is what I like.
Yeah, and probably getting around a little bit with the family, New York, Philadelphia, maybe the shore, the mountains.
Absolutely. New York is one of my favorite places. My brother actually lives in New York. He's been living here for a long time, so it's even easier for us to go there. Now, we have a place to stay.
Now, back growing up, where in France?
So I was born in the Alps. In a little town called Albertville. Maybe you've heard of it because it was Olympic Winter Games, 1992.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I spent a lot of time in this area, spent a little bit of time in the south of France and many years in Paris as well.
So the Poconos probably look a little small to you,
It's
right?
a little flat.
It's not quite the Alps. So is that do you have a winter sport background? Skiing? Ice skating? Yeah. Where would you go to ski in the U.S.? You have to go to Colorado or?
West. West is definitely where
the mountains are not big enough in the east.
Well, it's great for mountain biking because it's very hilly. It's never flat. It's a lot of ups and downs, and for this it's absolutely nice.
Now, are the kids any activities with school?
Kids, a lot of activities with school. I mean, they were actually remote as well during the whole year, but they also are playing tennis. My elder is starting mountain biking a little bit with me, but they are very big in arts, so they spend a lot of time drawing. So
and probably bilingual, right?
Well, actually, they are kind of trilingual. My wife is from Mexico, so it's a big mix at home. I speak to my kids in French. They speak to my wife in Spanish. and together, when they are together, they speak in English to each other. So,
And that's wonderful. That's going to serve them so well. And we're so glad that you're here in this position. We've been so glad that Olympus chose to be in the Lehigh Valley, and to have somebody with your experience and your passion and your energy to be here leading the company is going to be great for the Lehigh Valley. I look forward to all the folks getting to meet you in person over the time as we get back to safe meeting as a business community. And I thank you for being on the board and being involved.
thank you so much.
And thank you for taking the time to get folks to know a little bit more about you and a lot more about Olympus Corporation of the Americas. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Nestor, President and Chief Executive Officer at Lehigh Valley Health Network. At LVHN, we offer nationally recognized care close to home. Today and every day, our focus is on the health of our community. We know that a healthy community paves the way for a healthy economy. We're proud to partner with Lehigh Valley Economic Development Corporation as we work together to make the Lehigh Valley strong, vibrant, and safe.
At Capital Blue Cross, there are more yeses and fewer nos. Protecting your health and making it easier so you can spend time on what makes you smile. Helping our communities, your families, your businesses, big and small. We have you covered, going the extra mile. It's what we do. Capital Blue Cross, going the extra mile for you.
The new executive series would not be possible without the tremendous support of our sponsors. Thank you to all of our sponsors who have continuously supported the LVEDC mission during this time. Thank you to our presenting sponsor, Lehigh Valley Health Network. Our premier sponsor, Capital Blue Cross. Gold sponsor, Fitzpatrick Lenson Buba. Our event sponsors, Boyle Construction, Clunk & Milan Advertising, and Olympus Corporation of the Americas. Thank you to our interview sponsor, Victaulic, our production sponsor, Countess Communications, and our hosts throughout the Lehigh Valley. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. We hope you enjoy the new executive series.